Welcome into Texans Today, everybody. I'm your host, Jeremy Chuggs, and this show is from our live Wednesday show. We go live every Wednesday at 3:30 Central Time here on September 24th. That's when I'm filming this live show. This is all questions from our live audience. And if you're watching this live, hashtag Texans or Super Chat to get on the show. All of the questions, as I mentioned, from our loyal subscribers here at Texans Today, leading into the most pivotal game of the Texans season. Week 4 matchup up against the Tennessee Titans. They are coming down to NRG. Both teams are 0-3, a must-win game for your Houston Texans. I'll be live for this game, so don't miss out. We'll be live an hour before kickoff. And a reminder, we're giving away this Nico Collins autograph picture on Sunday, so if you want a chance to win that, be there or be square. Let's get into the questions from our live audience. P. Ray, I want Mike McCarthy as my OC. He was a QB coach, an OC, and a Super Bowl head coach. W. Chugs. P. Ray, thank you so much. I will say, I don't see the Texans at this point in the year getting a new OC. If they do anything with the play calling duties, my guess is that it would be current QB coach Gardner-Johnson, maybe wide receiver coach Ben McDaniels, who's actually the brother of Patriots OC Josh McDaniels. I think it would be a guy from within, because they're not going to hire a Mike McCarthy, somebody else. They might hire one of those guys as like an offensive consultant, but for them to come in and install their offense, install all the nuances, that's why you have training camp and the stuff before the season to implement all that stuff. It would be way too difficult, I believe, for CJ Stroud, this offense. They don't even know the Nick Caley system all that well, to then turn around and say, hey, we're going to scrap all that. We're going to have a new OC with a new scheme and everything. I just don't think that's possible. Maybe this offseason the Texans look into other options like a Mike McCarthy, like a Mike McDaniel. If he is let go by the Miami Dolphins, he has ties with the Houston Texans as well. I think that's more likely, or they bring in an offensive consultant like a Mike McCarthy where he comes in and just kind of gives his advice, gives his thoughts around this Texans offense to current OC Nick Caley. But a total OC regime change, I don't see that happening midway through the season. That's something that's going to happen probably this offseason. Thank you for the question, though, P. Ray. Zach Rose, do you think Woody at RB1 will make this running game better? I think he has better vision and playmaking qualities versus Chubb relying on a wide-open lane. I agree with you, Zach. I 100% agree with you. I want the Texans to free Woody this week. He has been awesome. Against the Bucs, he had a 35-yard catch. He had a couple runs. He was averaging 5 yards a carry. And then they just stopped playing him. He only got like 3 runs against the Bucs. Last week, up against the Jacksonville Jaguars, kind of the same situation. He was averaging like almost 5 yards a carry, but he had a limited workload. He only had 5 or 6 carries up against the Jags in week 3. So I would love to see Woody Marks out there. I don't want to see Dario Gumbawale. He's okay. He's a special teams guy. He can be in certain situations. But Woody Marks has shown that he can block. Woody Marks has shown that he can catch the ball out of the backfield and that he can run with great vision. So let's see the rookie that we traded up for. We moved up in round 4 to get him instead of getting an offensive lineman where there was still some decent guys to get there. If you neglected on an O-lineman to go up and get a Woody Marks, kind of the same with the wide receiver situation we have with Jaden Higgins and Jalen Knoll. If you're going to not take an offensive lineman and take a receiver, take a running back, use them. Why not? Right? Why not use the guys that you drafted high up in the draft? That's usually what you do to get your team better. So I want to see the Texans 100% use more Woody Marks this year. Thank you for the question, Zach Rose. This coming in from Cursed Labubu. Hashtag Texans. Should the Texans trade? No. I'm not even going to finish that sentence. Somebody asked me this. Somebody asked me this online. I'm sorry. You're maybe asking the wrong person because I'm not a Shedeur Sanders guy. I think he's an average QB. I think he's okay, but I don't think he's a starter in the NFL right now. I truly don't. Yeah, no way. No, let's get this off the screen. Get it off the screen. Let me know though. Of course, producer Jack goes to this question afterwards. Do you still trust CJ Stroud as the franchise quarterback? I still do. I still trust him as the franchise quarterback. Let me know down in the comment section, yes or no. Do you still believe in CJ Stroud? I want to hear from you down below. Let me know your honest thoughts down below in the comment section. As I mentioned, yes, I still believe in CJ Stroud. And when you look at all the people that are out on him already, I mean, I think a lot of teams would still be lucky or be willing to take a chance on Stroud. And why not us? A team like the Houston Texans that is still young. We forget, CJ Stroud's still 23 years old. Maybe he's not a top 5 quarterback right now at this point in his career, but some guys take a little bit more time. And he's shown us the flashes. He's shown us the potential of how good he can be. We just got to still be behind him and not just jump ship every time he has a bad game or every time he struggles a little bit. That's not going to help him out. I still believe in CJ Stroud, and I still want him to be our franchise guy. Coming in from Gunner, another super chat here on the show. Gunner also got 5 tickets for our Nico Collins autographed picture. We gave a special deal on our live show. That's why you got to show up here on Wednesdays. Special deals. Giving this away on Sunday again. Gunner, why not trade and get something? Why not trade and get something for CJ Gardner-Johnson? Woody needs a shot at RB2. We talked about him possibly being the RB1. Is there a free agent offensive lineman available? Okay. First, let's do it in the steps. All right. First, why not trade and get something for CJ Gardner-Johnson? I think they wanted it a clean cut, and they were like, you know what? I don't want the saga to take over this team, especially in a pivotal Week 4 game that you have to win. I think they were like, you know what? For everything that it's worth, if we want to turn around the season, it's better for us to clean cut it right here rather than have all the rumors out there, the CJ Gardner-Johnson trade rumors, that be taking over the locker room, that being taken over the conversation. Yes, obviously you had that with cutting CJ Gardner-Johnson, but they got it done at the beginning of the week. It's 24 hours have passed, and then by the time Friday, Saturday, Sunday is going to be here, hopefully that'll be out of the limelight. But if you were to trade him, if there were supposed to be trade rumors and this, that, and the other between the Texans and other teams, I think that would carry over into this week into a must-win game. So I think DeMeco Ryan said, hey, I'm a good enough defensive coach. I know what we can do to still win this game. We don't need CJ Gardner-Johnson. If that's the case, if he truly felt like that, it was probably better to just cut ties and not have the distraction going into a must-win, loser leaves town kind of game that the Texans have here in Week 4. I think that's why they did that. Woody Johnson, we talked about that. I think he deserves his shot, the rookie out of USC. And is there a free agent offensive lineman available? Short answer, no. I probably not what you want to hear, but there is a serious offensive line shortage in the NFL. Every single team in the NFL needs an offensive lineman. Every single team. I work with 30 other guys here at Chat Sports. And every single one of them at some point in the week says, does anybody have an offensive lineman that's good that you'd want to trade? Does anybody know of a good offensive lineman that we can add? There's not enough to go around. There's just not enough. Every single team needs offensive linemen. Free agent-wise, I don't really see any free agent that could come in and start for the Texans at this point. Like, maybe Jedrick Wills, but he was injured for the Browns last year. I really don't see any free agent coming in and really actually making an impact for this Texans team at this point in the season. Good question, though, Gunner. Jose Rangel, is Joe Mixon on vacation? Dude, it is Fort Knox right now at NRG when it comes to anything revolving around Joe Mixon. It is a touchy subject, to say the least. Anytime I mention to any of the people that I talk to around the organization, anybody that I talk to that covers this Texans team, if I say the magic words Joe Mixon, you think I just said Baltimore. Because everybody is like, shh. It is like, we don't talk about Joe Mixon. No. We don't talk about Mixon. They don't want to do it. They don't want to talk about Joe Mixon. It has been mum's the word, and it's making me nervous because it's making me think he's going to miss the season. Week 5, he can return. Will we hear anything about Mixon then? Maybe not. I think it's going to be kind of like we dealt with Christian Harris last year, where we just don't hear anything until maybe he comes back. Maybe he doesn't. But we'll see what happens on the Joe Mixon front. More questions coming up in just a moment. But I couldn't do today's show if it wasn't for our amazing sponsor, PrizePicks. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every single day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. PrizePicks is the best way to get action on any sport in more than 40 states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. And they have a great deal for you on tap this week. Jalen Hurts, 0.5 passing yards. It's a gimme. It's a freebie. You got to take these when you're on the PrizePicks app because that can win you some cold, hard cash. I paired that with CJ Stroud, more on his 16.5 rushing yards, and Tony Pollard, less on his 64.5 rushing yards. You see how easy that was? I can turn my sports opinions into cold, hard cash, and it took less than 60 seconds. So get started today with PrizePicks because they put their members first. So all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. PrizePicks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. All right, this coming in from your fearless leader, hashtag Texans. Nico Collins was doing so good before that fumble against the Jags game. I agree. I thought Nico was doing great. He had the long 50-yard touchdown that, gave the Texans offense some light. I mean, even the play where he fumbled, it was a great route by Nico Collins. He sat down right there in the zone. He honestly did everything that you teach your wide receiver to do. He sat in the zone. He felt somebody coming that way. He did a spin move this way. Just unlucky. He didn't keep it high and tight. And unluckily for the Texans, the Jags defender was able to just punch it out. But, this is actually supposed to be against the Titans for this one, Jack. I did look before because it's our great sponsor, PrizePicks, obviously. Nico Collins, his projection this Sunday, 75.5 receiving yards. L'Jarius Sneed was calling him out this week. What do we think, Texans fans? More or less than 75.5 receiving yards for Nico Collins? I believe Nico Collins is a wide receiver one. I believe L'Jarius Sneed is absolutely disrespecting the Texans wide receiver one. So give me the more on this for Nico Collins. Let me know what you think down below in the comments section. More or less for Nico Collins, 75.5 receiving yards this weekend. All right, let's go to another question from Gabriel Garcia. Tyreek could bring so much comfort for CJ Stroud in the passing game because Nico and Tyreek would be a problem for any defense. Even our running game would be outrageous. You know what? I would agree with you, Gabriel. I love the idea of Tyreek and Nico 1-1, but the problem is, I mentioned it earlier, you drafted 2 wide receivers in the early rounds. I want to see what they can do. I honestly thought, if you look at the end of the game, do we all remember the Christian Kirk seam route that almost got picked at the end of the game? Next to him was Jaden Higgins, who beat his man on the outside. I want to see those guys get some more opportunities. I think Jaden Higgins is a really good receiver. I think Jalen Noel is a really good receiver. So before we go out there and get help in the receiving department, can we at least try to use our rookies? Can we at least see what those guys have? Because if we don't use them all year, I'm going to be absolutely pissed that we didn't go out and get a offensive lineman, because every week that I watch the Detroit Lions, I see Tate Ratledge, their right guard. And the Texans had an opportunity to take him. Could you imagine if they got a good right guard on this team instead of a wide receiver that they don't use? Not saying Jaden Higgins was a bad pick or he's a bust in any way, but they're not using him. They could have easily used an offensive lineman, and they decided not to. So I don't want to go out and get another wide receiver because, as I mentioned, we already have wide receivers on our roster. Let's just use them. Ron Raspberry coming in. Who will replace Gardner-Johnson, and do you believe chemistry will be better? Well, I'll say this. If losing Gardner-Johnson means Kalen Bullock and Kamari Lassiter turn back into their rookie versions of themselves, yes, that will be so much better. That'll be worth it if we get the Kalen Bullock from last year, the Kamari Lassiter from last year, because there were too many lapses in coverage, and those two guys have not played good. CJ Gardner-Johnson allowed the 3rd worst completion percentage when targeted on this Texans defense so far this year. You know who number 2 and number 1 were? Kamari Lassiter and Kalen Bullock. Now, going into who will replace Gardner-Johnson, It'll be a mix of guys. MJ Stewart was on the team last year. He will take the starting reps in week 4 up against the Tennessee Titans. Then past that, they have a couple guys on the practice squad. They have Miles Bryant. They have Jimmy Ward that'll be coming back from injury. He's going to be, and being from the NFL Commissioner Exempt list, he got taken off that, so that's another guy that'll be coming back. Jalen Reed, who the Texans drafted in round 6 out of Penn State, he's coming back from injury. So there's a host of guys that are coming back into this secondary. Will they replace how good Gardner-Johnson is? That is yet to be seen. This coming in from not Nick Caserio. Good try, Nick. You're not fooling me. Hashtag Texans. Why will the Texans not use any of their rookies? This is the golden answer. Why? Why will they not use any of their rookies? Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel, Woody Marks. Let's use them. Let's please use them. I'm begging you, D'Amico, Nick Caley. Can we please use our rookies on offense? Jaden Higgins, he's looked great in the preseason, in practice. I mean, he looks the part. Can we please get him some targets? Jalen Noel, he's been electric in the return game. Can we get him some more looks? I mean, that's why we drafted him, right? To take some pressure off of Nico Collins. So please, can we use those guys? Woody Marks, he's averaging more than 4 yards a carry throughout the season. Can we use him, please? I'm asking. I want to see our rookies ball out, and hopefully we see them do just that this Sunday up against the Tennessee Titans. Both teams 0-3. This is a loser leave town game, so the Texans must win this matchup. We'll be live an hour before kickoff, 11 a.m. Central Time, as we root on our Houston Texans. Quick reminder, we're doing this giveaway on Sunday. Nico Collins autograph picture. So if you want a chance to win that bad boy, make sure you pull up Sunday for our watch party up against the Tennessee Titans.